Mr. Rami, do we have any issue or what?
No, sorry, I was muted. Please let
Okay.
me know when you see my screen.
Okay. I can see it now. Can everyone confirm, please?
Yes, I can see.
Yes, it's clear.
Thank you so much. So let's start then. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining us for today's webinar. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rami Imam. I'm a cloud solution architect. I have experienced more than 11 years in the IT field in public and private cloud. This is my email address. In case you want or you have any question, please feel free to drop me an email. This is our agenda for today. We're gonna discuss what is Microsoft Azure, what is the difference between the services, the benefits of using Microsoft Azure, with some comparisons between using Azure and the on-premises or the data centers, what we have in our offices, okay? Then we will see together what is the common scenarios or when we need to use Microsoft Azure and how Microsoft Azure can help us to cut down costs. Before I start, I would like to make it like interactive session. So please feel free to unmute yourself and to ask any question in case there is something not clear to you or you need some clarifications. This is, let's start from the on-premise and what does mean. The on-premise is our data center, which we have in our offices. This data center will have number of servers. Those servers hosted services and applications and databases. We are not here to discuss any technical features for the servers, but we need to understand what is the data center components. So for as essential servers, the Active Directory or the domain controller, the email server, which responsible for sending and receiving the emails for any organization, database server, which is the SQL or something else, and the application server, which could be the web application or mobile application or HR system or ERP or something else. So it depends on each company application and services. Okay, so those data centers should have even physical servers, and those servers will be installed and the rules will be installed in each individual server, or there is a hypervisor server which will be hosting number of servers together. Okay, this is like a design for what we have in our data centers in case we have on-premises environment or data center in our offices. So this is what I would like to start with. Each company has some internal users or external users needs to be connected to use those servers. That was like for some companies what they are using now before the cloud innovation came to us. What is Microsoft Azure? It's a cloud platform. This cloud platform where you can host your servers instead of building your own data center. Those are the physical locations for Microsoft data centers. In any data center of Microsoft Azure, you can host your Active Directory, your email system, your database server, your application. So Microsoft provides you with 61 regions, and those regions you can host in any of those data centers the application or the service what you need to let your users use it. Okay, so as we are here in Saudi Arabia, our favorite data center or our preferred data center is West Europe, because our internet connection came to Middle East and Saudi Arabia through Turkey, and this will have a less latency and will provide you with most of the services which Microsoft provides. We have also in United Arab Emirates 2 data centers. You can use any of them, but those data centers are new. So those data centers don't include all the services from Microsoft yet, but Microsoft is adding month after month some new services to each data center. So if the requested data center available in those data centers, you can use them. In case they are not there, please use West Europe if you are here in Saudi Arabia and you want to host your applications. Okay. That was the Microsoft data centers locations. And now let's take a look together for Microsoft services. The idea behind using the cloud, it's like a puzzle. We need to attach services together in order to have our system or our service up and running. So first of all, you need subscription, and Arselor team will provide you with the subscription. After that, you need, for example, if you need a virtual machine, this virtual machine required a hard disk in order to be working. So we need to attach the hard disk to this virtual machine, and we need to attach one virtual machine or multiple virtual machines to the virtual network using IP address and connecting to the virtual network using network interface card. You can enable the backup service. You can use a load balancer. So the idea here is connecting services together in order to build our virtual data center. That was, or this is how Microsoft Azure works. Let's move to the different 3 types of services which Microsoft provides. So you can have the service under ES, which is infrastructure as a service, and the PaaS, which is platform as a service, and SaaS, which is software as a service. Let's give an example for each of those categories or main categories of services. Under ES, we can have like virtual machine. We will manage it. Platform as a service. This virtual machine in the infrastructure as a service, you can host your application, or you can install your application, you can install your database. In the platform as a service, let's give an example here. You can have only database from Microsoft, and Microsoft will be managing the backend of this server. So you will not be responsible for updating the operating system which hosts your database. It will be totally managed by Microsoft. You need only to put your data and to manage it. And software as a service, everything will be managed by Microsoft. And the example here is the Office 365, the Exchange Online, the OneDrive, SharePoint Online, anything per user license. So this is under SaaS. I will show in this slide the difference between the management for each of them, and then I will get some questions in case if you have any questions for the previous slides, so we can take all of them together. In Microsoft or in your traditional on-premise data center, you will be responsible for everything. You have to manage the network, the storage, the servers, visualizations, and so on. But in infrastructure as a service, you will share the responsibility of the management between you and Microsoft, which is the vendor. So Microsoft will be managing the network, the storage, the server, the virtualization, and you will be managing the operating system, the middleware, running time, and the application. So here in Microsoft Azure, you have less responsibilities of the management, and in your on-premise, more responsibilities, and you will be responsible for managing everything. In SQL database or a web app where you can host your application without having a virtual machine. This is under platform as a service. The Microsoft responsibilities are more and your responsibilities are less. You have to manage your data and your application, and that's it. In the software as a service, everything is up and ready and running from Microsoft. All what you need to create your users, connect your domain, and everything is ready and customized for you. Okay. I wish everything is clear, but in Microsoft Data Center, we are focusing in the infrastructure as a service and the platform as a service. So any questions so far? Please feel free to unmute yourself and to ask for anything. This is the right time to ask before we move forward to the next slide. So, as we don't have questions, this is an explanation about the types of services in Microsoft Azure under IaaS category. We can have a virtual machine and we can install SQL server on this virtual machine. You can have also Azure SQL managed instance, and it's a managed instance by Microsoft, or SQL database. It will be hosted in a managed instance as well. Now it's the time for the benefits of Azure. First of all, or first thing we need to highlight here, that Azure is saving cost with 30% if you compare it to in the 5 years. If we have a comparison between what we're gonna spend on 5 years in our on-premises data center and what we're gonna spend in Azure in 5 years. So Azure is cheaper than on-premise with 30 to 40%. And there are many things we can do to optimize your cost more. First thing, you have the feature for on and off. When you switch on your server, you will start pay. When you switch it off, you will stop paying. And let's see this with numbers. Just a minute, please. I will reshare my screen to be able to open the browser for you, so we can see together like example for the licensing. Can anyone please confirm you can see my screen?
Yes, Mr. Yes,
Perfect.
we can see it.
Okay, so you can, this is an online calculator tool from Microsoft. It's called Azure Calculator. Okay, you can Google it. It's available there. Azure pricing calculator. You can open it and you can see each server, how much gonna cost you. And we are gonna to see an example now. Okay. So if you came to virtual machines, let me add more new one here. You need to pick the service from up. I picked, or my choice was a virtual machine. And after you get it, you need to select the region. As we agreed, West Europe is our best one. This is a virtual machine, consists of two CPU cores or two virtual CPUs and 8 GBs of RAM. The cost of it monthly is $154. And this VM consists of the computing part, the licensing part, and if you have on-premise license, no need to buy this license again, and you can use the Azure Hybrid benefits, which will make your VM or operating system cost zero. So in this one, if you, let's do like a small calculation. If your company is working like 10 hours per day, and you have 2 days off per week, so you need to multiply 10 hours working hours with 22 working days without weekends. This is the month. It will be 220 hours. If we came here and make it like 200, and I want you to see how much or how the cost will be decreased. If you use it for 220 hours, the cost will be monthly for this VM during working hours, it's like 46. And here we can see together, if you used your VM in your on-premise, if you stop it or keep it running, there is no cost saving. But on Azure, you can optimize your cost based on your usage. It's under pay-as-you-go module, okay? And that was a great example to see the cost optimization by turning on and off. There is something else. There is a different types of VMs. We can see B2MS. This is a different virtual machine. The monthly cost for this, it's a 2 CPU cores and 8 GB RAMs like the D series. And the cost here is almost the half, is a $75 if you use it 24/7. So this VM has a shared resources. This is for the VMs or the servers which not required like dedicated CPU. So this VM has shared CPU and it's a cheap. If we have something like the domain controller, the Active Directory, or something doesn't require dedicated CPU, you can use this VM and save a lot of money. Okay, so this is the second example for the turning on and off and using the appropriate VM for your environment. We will help you to choose the appropriate environment based on your current workload or your planned application to be installed. So feel free to contact Arselor team to do your sizing and to make the design for you. Okay. Second thing, we need to compare today. If you have your, or if you are planning to start new data center for your business, you need to spend a lot of money in the beginning in order to build your data center, to prepare a room, to get a rented place, to prepare the raised floor, the AC, the firefighting. You need to consider many things in order to build your data center. On Azure, no need to think about all of this. You have a monthly subscription based on your usage. You will get invoiced by end of each month. No need to prepare a data center. Just you need a VM, 2 CPU cores, and 8 GB RAMs. Just get it in 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Your VM will be created, and you can start your business immediately. Then you can grow or scale up your server from 2 CPU cores and 8 GB RAMs to 4 CPU cores and 16 to 8 CPU cores and 32 GB RAMs, and you can increase more up to 400 GBs of RAM and a big number of CPUs. So second thing we need, or second benefits we need to focus today, there is no huge investment in the beginning. It's a cheaper. You can use the on and off, and if your business is working the entire year with like normal workload and you need to scale up your server at any point of time, you can do this and pay the entire year less amount, and during this expand or increase, you can pay for what you need exactly. So if we compare this feature or this benefit with your on-premises data center, in your on-premise, if you need to do any change in your data center, you need to order hardware, which is might be not available in Saudi Arabia. You need to order it online, and it takes from 6 to 8 weeks to receive it. Then you need to attach your order to your data center. Then you can build your VMs and expand your server capacity. So on Azure,
I'm sorry for interruption, Mr. Rami.
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Ferdinand, I think you have an issue. So please, if there is an issue, just tell us on chat box.
Okay, it's not a problem.
Okay,
So,
I think he had a question. He's just asking about, in case of internet loss, what will be the disadvantage or data will loss? Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Ferdinand, for your question.
In case of internet loss, what will be the disadvantages? Okay. I think there is a misunderstanding for me for this question, but if you can unmute yourself and ask it, so I can make sure that I got your question. In case of internet loss.
Hello, Rami. Hi, this is Stephen
Hi.
here. So
Hi.
I believe what Ferdinand is trying to convey is, like, for example, you said that the data will be hosted in the cloud, and what happened if the internet is lost? Like, the main sense what he's trying to do is
Internet
there-
is lost from Microsoft side, from your data center, or from your mobile or your internet at office.
I believe from the, now Ferdinand is now available right now. Hi, Ferdinand, can you hear us?
Hello?
I believe Mr. Ferdinand is trying to convey, like, if the
Okay.
data is lost.
Let me get this one with you. It's okay. Let me answer your question based on the explanation what we just got, and let's focus, or let's think together. Microsoft Internet will not gonna be down for any reason, because Microsoft has multiple lines of internet using a redundancy between them. So we might have like our internet from the office down. This is where we will not be able to connect to Azure, right? But this is the bad news, and the good news, you can use even your mobile internet, and you can connect from any mobile or from any other internet source. So it doesn't require a specific source for the internet, and you can connect securely using point-to-site VPN or site-to-site VPN. So in your planning, you need to have like a backup ISP, a backup line of internet, ISP redundancy. So what if we think together, you host your servers in your on-premises data center and your users are outside and the internet is down in your data center? What do you think? What we can do in this case? No one will be able to reach your servers, right? But on Azure, even your internet at office is down, you can connect from any other source of internet and your servers are up and running. So Azure from this point of view is better than to host your servers in your on-premise. You can do that in your on-premise, but you need 2 to 3 internet lines in order to do redundancy, and this will be costly for you. So on Azure, you don't need any of those, and you will optimize the cost as well. Is that answer your question? I believe you don't have mic, so if you can just reply on the chat box. Perfect. So Microsoft Azure, that's great. Microsoft Azure, it's like has different features and benefits better than what we have in our on-premises. So we can make a conclusion for this slide. Microsoft is a cheaper. Microsoft is more scalable. There is a high flexibility on it. You can scale up or down anytime your server, and this will affect your price to be optimized. You can pay for what you need only. Don't pay for anything you don't need. Don't buy new hardware or new things to cover you in the upcoming 5 years, and you don't know your project will be for 5 years or more. So use this service from Microsoft for the period what you need, and later on you can scale up or down without any additional investment for your on-premise data center. Okay, I wish those benefits are enough for understanding the benefits of using Microsoft Azure. Also, one important thing is the high availability. By default, Microsoft provides you with 3 copies of your data in the data center, like US East. You can have the option of another 3 copies in the second data center, like US West. So here we can see that we have a data replication between 2 sites, and this makes our data totally high available, and this is called geo-replication, geographically replication. Okay, if you need to do the same in your on-premise, this is going to cost you a lot of money to have a high storage. But on Azure, it's by default you have 3 copies of your data. Okay, Microsoft Azure, it's an open platform, and here you can use any of your applications. If your application under Linux operating system, Ubuntu, Red Hat, or something else, this is supported. If your database, Hadoop database, or Redis, or ClearDB, or MySQL, or different, this is also supported. I got a question about the SAP, and SAP also is supported, and there is like, let me get it quickly as we are here. Let me get this. Okay, here we can see together. If you search for Microsoft Microsoft Marketplace. Microsoft Azure, sorry. I have missed. Okay, Microsoft Azure Marketplace. If you open it, you can see all third-party tools. Okay. If you came, for example, and search for backup solution, this is just to show you how Microsoft is open to be used with everything. If you come here to see a backup, sorry, backup, yeah.
Mr.
And
Rami,
you
sorry,
can,
I have a question.
yes.
Yes, this is Sarah.
Hi,
Mr.
Sarah.
Rami, how are you?
Good.
My questions relate for the security. If I have data center and I need to migration my data to cloud Azure,
Okay.
how can I keep and save my data secure?
Okay, Sarah, I just need to finish this example for the backup solution. If you allow me, then I will be discussing the security part,
Yes,
as well as I will be answering the chat question for SAP HANA. So can you hold on with me just a couple of minutes?
sure.
That
Thank you.
would be great. Thank you so much. So, if you are planning to use a backup solution, you can even use Microsoft Backup, or you can use any backup solution, any third party like Veritas Backup, like Barracuda Backup, like Veeam Backup. However, what you use in your on-premise, it's a compatible and available in Azure. All what you need a VM to run this backup solution management, and Arselor team will help you to get the software cost. Okay, so here we can see together that you can use any backup solution, and those from the marketplace you can get ready image for Windows Server, for example, and has a VM backup management solution. Veritas backup management solution, and it's rated, and if you can see here, it's a preferred solution by Microsoft. Okay, and to answer Sarah's question, let's think about the security. In your on-premise, you need to bring a firewall, right? The same thing here, you can have, if you search in the marketplace, firewall, you can find as well a virtual appliance of firewall. And to make your security high, you need to do a couple of things. First thing is to add the right firewall in your environment, and also you can use Microsoft Firewall or Sophos on Azure, Barracuda on Azure, F5, FortiGate, any different solution or any third-party firewall or WAF, Cisco, and many different products. You can use whatever what you want and use in your on-premise using, you can use on Azure. Okay, this is like a first line of security. Second thing, you can have multi-factor authentication for the users. You can make a control list to allow and deny ports. You can secure your RDP connection to your environment. You can use a VPN site to site or point to site through Microsoft Azure itself or using the third-party vendors. So with those things, you are making sure who's accessing your environment. You can apply or you can add the security center feature. If we came here, for example, let's see, this is, let's see together the security center from Microsoft. The name of it now is Azure Defender. This is the new naming. It was a security center before. And if you come here to get more details, like pricing details, for example, okay, there is a free tier and paid tier. Just a minute. Okay, in the free tier, as we can see here, will give you continuous assessment for your security and recommendations, and will give you Azure Secure Score for your VMs, and this is free, and it's called Azure Security Center free tier. The Azure Defender will have just-in-time access. If you need to allow specific person to connect to your environment in Azure, will be like I need to allow Karim to connect to my server in Azure for 1 hour. So I will give him like access for him only from his, I will ask him to share his IP address from home and to be able to connect there. Okay, for 1 hour. After this hour, the access will be denied. So I am securing my environment in order to make it more secure. And those features are not available in on-premise. You need to get a third party and you need to pay a lot of things in order to secure your on-premise environment. Okay? So you can use something like that as well. So for the time of the session, Microsoft simply here, it's up to and compatible with many open source and third-party vendors as well. Okay, those are the certificates what Microsoft Azure data centers got. It's certified from ISO and FDA, European Union model classes. All of those organizations or certificates are for the IT standard internationally. So this is how Microsoft build its data centers, and better than I build my data center. And if I can get my data center to be certified like Microsoft Data Center, but I need to spend a lot of money. So my data in somewhere safe, certified, secure, and with a less cost as well. Okay. Microsoft provides us with many layers of security, like 24/7 security, and we need to build your design by secure way, and we will help you with Arselor team in order to get it. You can also use security appliances as we saw, and you can encrypt your data so no one else will be able to see your data. Okay. You can do the logging and auditing, rule-based access. You can give for each of your admins access with some conditions. Okay, so I did not answer the question of Microsoft or for SAP HANA. Let me get here a quick on it. Okay, SAP, it's a certified platform on Azure. Okay, and this is a SAP website showing us that you can use SAP workload on Azure, but under certified VMs. If your VM is a certified and HANA certified on Azure, you can get SAP support. And if it's not certified, you will not be able to use the SAP HANA on Azure. Or you can use it, but there is no support from SAP HANA. We will help you to get a certified. There are many vendors. You can use Microsoft Azure, for example. Okay. Okay, in Microsoft Azure, as you can see here, those are the certified VMs, okay? And we will help you to do your application or to host your SAP application and the SAP HANA database on Azure. There is also another link for the certified solutions on Microsoft Azure from SAP. Let's get, I believe, this link. Okay, so you can even use SAP HANA, SAP NetWeaver, based on your application type, SAP Business One on SQL. If we go a little bit up, Business One Suite software, all in one. It depends on which application you use. Those are the certified VMs to be used on Azure. Okay, and this is based on SAP notes. Okay, so if you have SAP account, you can read those notes, but as I don't have for now, so I will not be able to use the or to read the documentation. Okay, and this is for SAP HANA certifications. You need to use those type of VMs. We will help you on it, so don't worry about that. And let's move forward in our presentation. Yeah, there is an option from Microsoft. If you commit to use Microsoft Azure for 1 year or 3 years, there is a discount for the computing and for the operating system. It comes to up to 72% if you compare it with pay-as-you-go. There is also 82% discount for the software in case you will use both of Azure Reserved Instance and software subscription. We will help you to do it, but let me introduce the, let me talk about the scenarios quickly. If you have your on-premise data center, you can have backup on Azure using Microsoft Azure Backup. Yeah.
Mr. Rami, sorry for interruption, but I believe we have a question on the chat box from Mr. Joseph. Hello,
Okay.
Mr. Joseph. He's asking about will Azure accommodate the data to the secure inside Saudi Arabia only? Hence, our company is connected to energy and power. Okay, thank you, Mr. Joseph, for your question.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it or can I read it where I can read it?
Sure, in the chat box.
Okay, chat box. So, however, I would like to raise a question. How will Azure accommodate the data to be insecure inside Saudi Arabia only to enhance our company as we connected to energy and power? Okay. Microsoft Azure, as we discussed before, it's hosted in outside of Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, West Europe, USA, and many different locations. But Microsoft, if you need your data to be in Saudi Arabia, there is another solution called Azure Stack. You will get a rack from Microsoft. This rack, Microsoft approved like 3 vendors, HP and Dell and Cisco and maybe Huawei, as I believe. So you can get a ready rack with the Azure experience to be in your place and hosted in your place. But in this case, you need to do an investment to get or to buy for this rack in order to have it in your environment. You will own the rack, but you will get the images, the ready images, the compatibility with the marketplace, the operating system. You can buy it monthly, but you need to buy the hardware. This is the only solution in order to have your data in Saudi Arabia, and it's available, and many customers have it here in Saudi Arabia as well. But it doesn't have the full Azure services. It have like 70% of the Azure services and features. Is that answer your question?
Mr. Joseph, you can share.
He is typing, as I believe, but anyways, until we get the answer from him, let's see together the Azure scenarios. If you have your Okay, if you can share the profile to us, sure, why not? It's not a problem, and our team will share it with you. Karim and Sarah will share it with you as soon as possible. So, first solution is the backup. If I have my data center here in Saudi Arabia, I can backup my servers on Azure using Microsoft Azure or using third-party vendor. Second thing, I can have a disaster recovery site on Microsoft Azure. I can have my DR on Azure. In case if I have any problem in my data center, my servers on Azure will be running until I fix my on-premise issue. Then I can fail back. So I can fail over in case if I have a problem, and I can fail back when I solve my on-premise problem, and I will pay only for the running time full service. Otherwise, I will be paying for the storage, and if I need like 24/7 services to be running like the domain controller or database server, I can pay for them only for a small instance. Okay, so I can back up my servers on Azure. I can have a DR, and the DR will help the business continuity to be uh, running or to be available as much as I can. So will be a great benefits for my business. In case if I have business and I don't need my selling points, for example, to be down for at any time, so we can have a solution like the DR. If we have a developers and we need the development environment to have a small server to do the testing, we can have a small VM to test. After we finish testing, we can stop the server and stop paying. If our on-premise data center is fully utilized, we can expand our infrastructure to Azure, connect your on-premise with Azure through a VPN site-to-site or MPLS through the express route, and start using the Azure for as expand for your data center. No need to buy more new hardware. You can only create VMs and use it from Azure in addition to the services what we have in our own premises. Okay, I hope the scenarios are fitting all the requirements and the needs for everyone attending today. If you have any question as well here in the scenarios, or you have a specific scenario, feel free to drop us an email. Sorry. So let's see what Microsoft given to us. There is a high availability like 99.9 and 99.95 in the hardware failure, and the entire data center failure, it's a 99.99. So we can make our high availability greater with using Azure Backup or data encryption, using the disaster recovery, and connect all our branches together. Okay. How it works, or if you want to do an engagement with us, what we need to do and what you will get. First thing, we are as a Logicom Microsoft distributor, and we are not authorized to sell directly to end users, but we can help you through our partner, Arselor, as Arselor, one of our strategic partners in Saudi Arabia. So you can ask them for a assessment session, for example. This assessment session, they will assess your environment, they will understand what you have, then we will be working together to architect your environment or your design or Azure. Then there is, after you agreed and everything is okay, you can, Arselor can help you to migrate your environment or to build your new environment on Azure. Then they will provide you with the documentation for your environment. Okay, this is how the process will be. But before anything, after they do the assessment, you will get estimated price for your servers or the needed services on Azure. And here where you can agree or discuss the design, so we can optimize more the cost or add more services on it. Okay, and this is how the process it works. The benefits or the real benefits, there is a cost optimization will be happen. There is the security will be enhanced, the reliability and the performance even will be efficiency more than what we have in our data centers, and the operational will be much easier and excellent, better than what we use in our environment. You are managing your Azure environment from one portal and easier for you and for your technical team. Okay. In this slide, we cover, I want to just show you there is a different types of VMs based on your workload. We will help you to get the right VM and the right series. And there is a different types of hard disks. You can use the HDD, the SSD standard and the premium, and even the ultra disks. And you can use the operating system based on what you need or based on your requirement. You can use the SAP on Azure and many different solutions on Azure. Okay. Cost will be optimized and the security will be enhanced and the scalability will be much better for your environment if you get Microsoft Azure part of your data center or you use Microsoft Azure. Regarding the paying and the licensing, it's like a consumption-based service. In this consumption-based service, you are paying for the virtual machine per dollar per hour, the same for website and database. The storage even, it's per transaction. And there are some services like the Azure Active Directory, it's user subscription license, and you can order it per user. Okay. This is where to reach Arselor team. I believe also Karim will share Karim will share the contact details in order if you need to request for any of Arselor services, or if in order if you need to use or to try even the Microsoft Azure. I hope that session was informative for you. I'm almost done. If you have any more questions or additional questions, please unmute yourself. And sorry, Karim, I exceed the time by, but it was, I want to give all information for all attendees. So the stage is yours, and feel free to ask me any question if you have.
Okay, sure, no problem. It was fun to go, although. Thank you for your efforts and thank you for your joyful explanation. And I hope our attendees have enjoyed our webinar. So please, if anyone had any question to ask before we finish, please feel free to unmute yourself or ask in chat box. Okay, so I think we don't have any questions. Sarah, please share our screen. Well, now, thank you for honoring us by attending this webinar as a gift to our attendees and our guests today. Arselor provides a free assessment session for your system to know how Microsoft Azure would be beneficial to your business. and we will contact you to provide the details about this session by email after this session. And we are thanking you for attending. Also, we will have a prize of a $100 free credit for Microsoft Azure for the first 3 attendees to contact us at by mail, Azure at Arselor.com.
Sorry, Kareem, this credit will be for testing?
Yes, of course.
So everyone can test the Azure itself?
Yes.
That's great. Amazing.
Great. Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our webinar, and see you in more webinars again.
Yeah, everyone, please feel free to share your technical team contacts in order to get the free credit, and have a lovely day for everyone.
Yes, you too, Rami. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.